client-facing positions is to understand people. Everybody is different. I'm different, you're different, the customer is different, and culture is very important as well.
Diogo, welcome back. You've been a business analyst for 7-8 years, in the Salesforce world for about 9 years. So first, I want to ask you, in your own words, in a few words, define the job of a business analyst.
All right. First, good to be back. And I think I can answer the question by the most important thing of a business analyst is to understand the business needs of the customer. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter how you're going to solution what's their need, if it's in Salesforce, if it's whatever the technical solution, but you need to understand what you're going to solve and what they need to gain from the solution that you're going to propose. Obviously, there's the industry play, right? So if we're experienced, we're going to learn more and more about the industry. We're going to have best practices. We're going to have things that we know it works in the industry. But despite the knowledge of the industry, it's very important that we understand what the customer needs. That's for me the main work of a business analyst.
Yeah. And I guess avoid getting stuck in technical discussions too early on, where you lose track of the ultimate goal, which surprisingly, it's possible to lose track of it. So it's to stay vigilant about the ultimate goal.
Yeah, no, I think just to add to that, for me, one of the biggest challenges for me is that I'm not just a business analyst, but because I know the technical side, sometimes I have to always remind myself I have to stay on the business discussions because the people in the room might not know Salesforce or might not be technical. So we always have to keep the business discussions, what's relevant for that discussion. We cannot just jump in the solutioning or the technical side of it. There will be a time for that, but keeping the level and keeping the solutioning for a later stage, it's always better.
All right. And over the years, so what are the biggest evolutions or lessons learned that you've experienced about the profession of business analyst?
I think people. For me, one of the most important factors of a consultant, not just a business analyst, but whoever is working as a consultant with consulting client-facing positions, is to understand people. Everybody is different. I'm different, you're different, the customer is different, and culture is very important as well. So when we're working with people, if we understand how they work, how they think, things that are involved around culture, and that can really make things easy for you, because you need to understand the language of the person. Sometimes we have a lot of resistance, but why do we have that resistance? Maybe it's something cultural, or maybe it's something that they are not comfortable with. So as long as you understand those how can I say, thin lines or those nuances, I think you're good to go.
And you're right that every stakeholder has different personality.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you layer the company culture or the department's culture. And that's super interesting and complex. How do you go about finding the right solution for a customer?
That's an important question, because it all comes to what's involved with that solution. So if we talk about Salesforce, obviously, we have to respect Salesforce best practices. We have to respect whatever is industry standard for Salesforce. But sometimes we just can't, because the customer have requirements and we have to respect those requirements as well. So for me, the best solution is finding that in between and always proposing, always giving the option to the customer. Like, the customer needs to be given the option so they can make a decision. So you have option 1, you have option 2, you have option 3. What's the recommended Sojit stamp solution?
Yeah, what would you do, and then what they can do if they feel like it.
Exactly. And sometimes we just have to work with what we get from the customer. Like, we have this, we have to integrate with the system, or the customer service team likes to work like that, or they have different shift time. We have to consider all the factors and all the things that are implicit in the project, in the process, and then you're going to propose those different solutions. So sometimes the best solution, it's not the solution that the customer needs. So, but they need to be given the option. That's the best we can get. But due to the project challenges or due to the scenario that we have, this is the decision we're going to make.
And you touched on it a little bit. How do you manage different kinds of customers?
Yeah, I think like managing the customer is understanding the customer. It's understanding, their pain points and understanding and building the relationship with the person you're interacting with. Managing one customer, you're focusing with one person. It's fine. You have the time. You're always there. Managing multiple customers at the same time, you always have to provide. And I think this is one of the greatest challenge for me, providing the same level of service for all the customers if I'm working with them at the same time, right? If I have 10 customers, 20 customers, I cannot have a different performance or a different level of service, with different customers.
Yeah.
They should all get the same service. They should all get the same attention. And I think this is one of the challenges as well, working with many customers.
All right. And this is one of the last questions. So what are your MVP moves that you highly recommend other business analysts try in their practice?
Good. In Salesforce, I think Salesforce, is a vast, huge world. We have so many examples out there, so many recommendations, so many things that we can harvest from the community. So for me, one of the MVPs is to always look for people who have experience or for things that people learned within the years or within the tries. And we have people at SoloJet, we have people out there, so finding those shortcuts, it's very important because you don't have to make the mistakes that maybe somebody else already made before. And you can learn with those things from your colleagues, from other projects. Yeah. I think this is the ultimate shortcut, ultimate MVP.
Yeah.
Rely on your work colleagues, rely on your managers, rely on other people's solution, and obviously you're gonna find like the best way to do it.
All right. So your MVP move is collaboration, communication, asking questions. Yeah. Looking if somebody already blazed that trail, not to make too big of a pun there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right, Diogo. Anything you want to add about the practice craft of a business analyst?
No, I think like the business analyst is it's a position that it's always there with the customer. As long as you're walking together with the customer, as long as you're understanding what they need, as long as you're providing what they need for that moment, providing the value. I always talk about value and value proposition because it's the ultimate need of the customer. They need to gain something from what we're providing. Yeah. And I think for me, this is really the key. Sometimes we forget, right? The project it's a project of 5 years. We tend to forget what happened in the past. Looking back is always important. Lessons learned is very important as well. So having that history, the lessons that you learned with the customer will help you improve and will help you conduct the next phases and help you understand what are the winning moves for the customer, right? We talk about winning moves ourselves, how we grow, but what are the winning moves for the customers? And can we be conscious of that all the time to always think about that when we're even like doing a task or talking to the customer, what are the goals for this week? Are we linking those tasks and those goals with the winning moves of the customer? I think for me, should be on the handbook of a business analyst.
All right. Thanks a lot, Diogo. Talk to you soon.